you're there 6 days a week. You live in the city 6 days a week. You work those hours. And then when I'm off, I'm back at the shop and film.
Jack Reynolds was born on April 3, 1968, in Dayton, Ohio, into a household where ambition clashed with chaos. His father, a former mechanic turned small-time entrepreneur, was strict, controlling, and quick to anger. His mother tried to hold the home together but struggled with depression and financial instability. By the time Jack was 5, he had learned that mistakes were punished swiftly and love was conditional. Yet in the midst of this tension, a silver lining appeared, the family garage. While other kids were outside playing, Jack spent hours tinkering with broken lawnmowers, salvaged car parts, and old bicycles. He learned to weld before he learned fractions, and every tiny project he completed became a beacon of independence. By 8, he had built a makeshift go-kart using nothing but scraps. He scavenged from his father's tools. This early immersion taught him that creation could be a refuge, a place where control was his, and mistakes could be fixed with patience and ingenuity. School offered no solace. Jack's restless energy clashed with rigid teachers. He struggled to sit still, and his assignments rarely reflected the brilliance behind his hands. By the time he was 12, he had dropped out of multiple after-school programs, preferring the garage over classrooms. Yet even amid personal struggle, his talent was undeniable. Neighborhood adults began noticing the boy who could repair anything, and soon, Jack's reputation for ingenuity spread quietly across Dayton. By age 13, Jack wasn't just fixing things, he was redesigning them. A broken bicycle frame could become a motorized contraption, a worn-out lawnmower engine, a miniature go-kart. Creativity became a lifeline. Friends and neighbors started bringing projects to him, trusting this young prodigy to breathe life into their discarded machines. Little did anyone know, Dayton's quiet boy was setting the foundation for a legend, one weld and one spark at a time. Jack's early years weren't easy, but the garage had ignited a fire that would never burn out. At 13, Jack decided to turn a rusted go-kart chassis into a mini motorcycle. He didn't ask for help. He didn't seek permission. Welding, grinding, and testing it late into the night, he created a roaring engine that terrified his neighbors and delighted him. When he finally took it for a spin, it toppled over a trash can, smashed through a fence, and set a small fire in the yard. That chaos, rather than discouraging him, cemented his love for the thrill of creation and the dangers it brought. Meanwhile, at home, his father's temper escalated. Discipline was harsh, often physical, and Jack learned to navigate through fear and anger to keep pursuing his projects. By 14, Jack was spending more time in the garage than at school, building rudimentary engines and repairing motorcycles for friends. Word spread, and soon he had a small client base, trading repairs for cash, car parts, and rare tools. Each transaction taught him lessons no classroom could provide: negotiation, craftsmanship, and the fragile balance of trust. Jack's teenage life wasn't just machines. He discovered alcohol at parties, sometimes drinking to quiet the stress. At home, small bouts of rebellion became frequent. He stole gas, occasionally skipped school, and pushed boundaries recklessly. Yet each time he returned to the garage, he found clarity. The smell of grease and molten metal calmed him, offering control over a life that often felt out of control. By 16, Jack had completed his first fully functional motorcycle, cobbled together from scrap parts, which ran surprisingly well. Local enthusiasts began taking notice. Jack realized that his talent wasn't just a hobby, it was a potential path out of chaos. Every spark, every engine roar, and every weld reinforced his confidence. The garage became his sanctuary and his proving ground, teaching him that even in the midst of turmoil, mastery could be achieved with patience, daring, and relentless persistence. By 17, Jack was ready to transform passion into profit. With a mere $500 saved from odd jobs, he rented a 500-square-foot garage behind his father's workshop, naming it Titan Garage. It was modest: a few welding machines, a grinder, a second-hand air compressor, and walls lined with salvaged parts. No one believed in the venture, not his father, not his friends, not the local business community. But Jack had something intangible: relentless determination. The first projects were chaotic yet genius. Each bike was unique, unpolished, but brimming with personality. Word of mouth drew attention from local collectors and adrenaline-seeking bikers. By the end of his first year, Titan Garage had built 5 custom bikes, each earning slightly more than $5,000 in profit. It was a small start, but monumental: a chance to reclaim control over his own destiny. Yet the risks were severe. Jack financed every build himself, borrowed from friends, and often skipped meals to keep the work going. Nights were long, winter bites harsh, and accidents occurred regularly. Sparks caught clothing on fire, motors exploded mid-testing, and once a bike flipped out of the garage and crushed a neighbor's fence. The tension was relentless, but so was his focus. Each mistake became a lesson, every small success a validation that he could survive the odds stacked against him. Titan Garage was no longer just a dream, it was a statement. The gamble wasn't just financial, it was personal. A high-stakes bet that the boy from Dayton could build more than bikes, he could build a legacy. By the close of year 2, Jack was negotiating contracts, mentoring a small team, and gaining a reputation that stretched beyond his neighborhood. Every client, every bike, every late night welded into the foundation of what would eventually become an empire. The garage was alive, and so was Jack's ambition. By age 23, Jack Reynolds had turned Titan Garage into a local sensation. Motorcycles were no longer just machines, they were art, symbols of rebellion and ingenuity. Word of mouth brought clients from out of state, And soon Jack had his first televised feature on a regional motorsport show. The cameras captured the sweat, sparks, and raw energy of the garage, a chaotic ballet of machinery and ambition. Viewers were drawn to the magnetic mix of danger and brilliance. Watching Jack's hands sculpt metal into beast of speed and style, business grew rapidly. But so did tension. Jack's team of young mechanics was loyal but inexperienced. Mistakes were costly, bikes flipped, engines seized, and deadlines were missed. Jack's temper flared, often explosively. Crew members described him as brilliant but terrifying. Man driven by obsession with little patience for imperfection. The TV cameras didn't hide this side. They magnified it. Audiences were captivated, riveted by both the genius and the volatility on display. Meanwhile, Jack's personal life struggled. Romantic relationships faltered, friends grew distant, and alcohol remained a shadow lurking in every celebration and failure. Yet, each crisis seemed to fuel his work. He was building machines that were impossible, defying engineering norms, combining design flair with raw performance. Orders for Titan Garage skyrocketed, and soon Jack was traveling to bike rallies across the US, showcasing his work to thousands of fans, signing autographs, and becoming a symbol of daring creativity. With fame came scrutiny. Competitors mocked his unconventional methods, critics highlighted the chaos, and safety regulators asked uncomfortable questions, but the public was enthralled. Jack became a figure larger than life, a testament to audacious craftsmanship and relentless determination. The garage, once a small haven for a restless boy, was now a stage where genius and madness danced. And Jack reveled in both the admiration and the fear he inspired. Jack's rise wasn't without peril. The pressure of meeting orders, managing staff, and sustaining a growing public profile led him back to the habits he had promised himself he would escape. Alcohol and reckless decision-making became his secret companions once again. Late nights in the garage, once sacred and productive, turned into nights at the bar, fueled by stress and a desperate need to escape. Mishaps on the road, accidents during test rides, and missed deadlines became alarmingly common. By 30, Jack faced his first public meltdown. A bike intended for a high-profile client exploded in flames during testing, destroying the machine and injuring a junior mechanic. The incident made local headlines, and while no one blamed Jack outright, whispers of irresponsibility circulated. His temper, already volatile, escalated. Meetings devolved into shouting matches, and employees left, citing unsafe work conditions and erratic leadership. Titan Garage teetered between fame and chaos, its foundation shaken beneath Jack's genius. Jack's personal relationships were equally turbulent. Longtime girlfriend Laura left after years of emotional turmoil. Family members distanced themselves, fearing they couldn't help. Isolation crept in. Yet the public adored him. Every televised interview, every show appearance, painted a picture of genius and chaos intertwined. The dichotomy fascinated audiences who saw only brilliance, not the unraveling behind the scenes. Inside, Jack was spiraling. Creditors demanded payment. Suppliers hesitated to deliver, and legal troubles mounted. After minor accidents, each crisis fed the cycle of stress and self-medication. Yet, his talent for building unmatched motorcycles remained untarnished, a stark contrast to his deteriorating private life. The garage hummed with potential even as Jack teetered on the edge. He was a man caught between creation and destruction, celebrated by the world yet haunted by the demons he could neither tame nor escape. At 32, after a minor welding accident that could have cost him his life, Jack hit rock bottom. The injury left him bedridden for weeks, forcing him to confront decades of chaos. For the first time, he examined the trail of destruction he had left behind: broken relationships, unpaid debts, and a reputation for volatility. The garage, the source of his freedom, now felt like a cage he had built himself. Every tool and machine seemed to whisper memories of missed opportunities and personal failures. Determined to regain control, Jack checked into an intensive rehabilitation program. It wasn't easy. Years of habit, stress, and pride made every step a struggle. He attended meetings daily, spoke openly about his failures, and confronted the family trauma he had buried for years. Slowly, Jack began rebuilding his mental and emotional foundation. Sobriety gave him clarity, allowing him to reconnect with the very passion that had saved him as a boy, building extraordinary motorcycles. Each day, he learned patience and discipline, discovering that the same meticulous care he applied to machines could also repair his life. Back at Titan Garage, the effects were immediate. His temper softened, his focus sharpened, and his creativity flourished. Projects that once dragged for months now flowed smoothly. His team, previously wary of his mood swings, returned with renewed trust. Jack discovered a new leadership style, firm but fair, where excellence was expected, but humanity was respected. The culture of fear transformed into one of collaboration, mentorship, and shared pride in every machine leaving the shop. Orders began to surge. High-profile clients who had previously turned away returned. Media outlets noticed the transformation, and soon Jack became a symbol of resilience, a man who had conquered addiction and chaos to reclaim his empire. Sobriety wasn't just about survival, it was a rebirth, an opportunity to prove that talent paired with discipline could create lasting success. Jack was no longer running from his demons, he was building a legacy that would outlast them. With clarity and stability, Jack pushed Titan Garage into uncharted territory. No longer just a local custom shop, he began designing elaborate themed bikes for corporations, movie studios, and motorcycle enthusiasts nationwide. Each bike became a statement piece, blending engineering innovation with aesthetic daring. Long frames, chrome plating, and radical paint jobs became his signature, distinguishing Titan Garage in a crowded market. Every new project told a story, and Jack's attention to detail elevated the bikes to the level of art. The business model evolved. Jack introduced a pre-sale system, allowing clients to invest in designs before production. Workshops expanded, staff doubled, and apprenticeships became formalized, teaching young mechanics the same discipline and ingenuity that had shaped Jack. Quality control became rigorous, every weld inspected, every engine tested meticulously. Meanwhile, media appearances amplified his fame. Magazine covers, reality show features, and interviews painted him as the maverick genius who defied the odds. His story of chaos to clarity inspired audiences, turning Titan Garage into a household name among enthusiasts. However, the pressure remained immense. Public scrutiny increased, deadlines tightened, and rival shops attempted to imitate his designs. Jack faced the delicate balance of maintaining authenticity while meeting demand. Mistakes were costly, but Jack had learned resilience. Each failure was treated as a lesson, every critique as an opportunity to innovate. Financially, Titan Garage thrived. By age 35, the business grossed over $3 million annually. Iconic builds, corporate showpieces, and celebrity commissions put Jack on the global map. Yet amid the success, Jack remained humble, crediting his team, his early struggles, and the clarity sobriety had brought. The foundation was set. Titan Garage was no longer just a workshop. It was a brand, a symbol of ingenuity, ambition, and redemption, proof that vision paired with discipline could conquer any obstacle. Jack's sons, Ethan and Leo, were drawn into Titan Garage as teenagers. Watching their father craft extraordinary motorcycles was inspiring, but navigating the high-pressure environment tested their relationships at every turn. Long hours, tight deadlines, and Jack's perfectionism created friction. Arguments erupted over design choices, welding techniques, and shop protocol. And occasional physical altercations, rare, but intense, left emotional marks. The cameras captured it all, turning private family tension into public spectacle, and audiences were captivated by the raw, unscripted drama. The dynamic mirrored Jack's own upbringing. He saw in his sons both the promise of brilliance and the potential for rebellion. His desire to mentor collided with the need for control. At times, he pushed hard, demanding perfection and replicating patterns he had once resisted in his own youth. Yet he tried. Jack implemented therapy sessions, conflict resolution workshops, and open forums for honest communication. Slowly, relationships began to heal, but scars remain a reminder that ambition and family often clash. Even with the best intentions, beyond personal conflict, Jack's sons learned lessons that extended far past motorcycles. They discovered resilience, accountability, and the importance of collaboration. Each success in the garage, each machine completed, was tied to sacrifice, strategy, and patience. The duality of Jack Reynolds fascinated audiences, the brilliant master builder on one hand and the flawed, often volatile father on the other. Fans rooted for reconciliation while marveling at the motorcycles, creating a compelling blend of personal drama and professional awe that propelled Titan Garage to unprecedented cultural significance. Jack came to understand that family and business could coexist only with boundaries, respect, and humility, a lesson he hoped his sons would carry forward long after cameras stopped rolling. By his early 40s, Jack had cemented Titan Garage as a global authority in custom motorcycles. International clients commissioned elaborate builds costing $150,000 or more, and each bike became a testament to artistry, engineering, and daring innovation. The company expanded to a sprawling 30,000 square foot facility, complete with multiple design studios, a small museum chronicling Titan Garage's evolution, and public showrooms that drew enthusiasts from around the world. Jack's aesthetic long frames, chrome finishes, and bold, thematic design set trends across the industry, with competitors emulating his signature style and daring color schemes. Yet with such success came unrelenting pressure. Financial risks grew with every ambitious project, and the constant juggling of international contracts, supply chain challenges, and staffing issues threatened stability. Jack worked grueling 18-hour days, sacrificing sleep, health, and even meals, attempting to oversee every detail. His sons, Ethan and Leo, often clashed with him over project directions, leading to televised arguments that entertained audiences but strained their family bonds. The relentless scrutiny amplified every misstep. Legal battles over intellectual property compounded the stress. Rivals attempted to copy Jack's innovative designs, forcing him into protracted lawsuits that drained mental energy and financial resources. Yet Jack's resilience never faltered. Each obstacle became a lesson, each mistake a chance to refine strategy, and every challenge strengthened his reputation as both a master craftsman and savvy entrepreneur. Through it all, Jack held fast to a guiding philosophy. Every bike told a story, every weld represented effort, and every setback was an opportunity to demonstrate endurance. Titan Garage had transcended motorcycles and had become a living testament to creativity, perseverance, and the unyielding spirit required to turn vision into reality. By age 55, Jack Reynolds had built more than motorcycles, he had built a legacy. Titan Garage was now synonymous with artistic brilliance, innovation, and bold entrepreneurship. Jack had trained a new generation of mechanics and designers, many of whom launched their own successful custom shops. His influence shaped not just motorcycles but reality television, corporate branding, and even popular culture. leaving an indelible mark on multiple industries. Reflecting on his life, Jack saw a journey defined by extremes of abusive childhood, teenage rebellion, battles with addiction, near bankruptcies, and public meltdowns. Yet every hardship had honed his skills, shaped his leadership style, and deepened his empathy. Sobriety and mentorship became cornerstones of his existence, proving that resilience and discipline mattered more than accolades or profit. Each bike built, each client satisfied was a tangible reminder of lessons learned through struggle. Family healing continued gradually. Ethan and Leo, now trusted co-leaders at Titan Garage, had internalized the hard-earned wisdom of their father's experiences. Together, they managed operations with a balance of innovation, practicality, and respect for the company's founding principles. Titan Garage, once a small Dayton workshop, now enjoyed international reach, a devoted fan base, and a reputation that transcended motorcycles alone, standing in the showroom, surrounded by gleaming machines, awards, and photographs. Chronicling decades of work, Jack realized that success was never purely about money or fame. True achievement was about navigating chaos, channeling passion, and creating something enduring. His story, like his motorcycles, was one of triumph, turbulence, and transformation. It offered a blueprint for anyone willing to chase greatness, confront adversity, and leave a legacy that could outlast a lifetime.